Welcome to the Rose Flame Podcast, where together we uncover divine mysteries and discover our divinity and humanity wrapped together as one. Hello again. Welcome in. Come in, sit down, relax. Maybe you got some tea or coffee or water. This is the Rose Flame Podcast, episode number 13. And we have a special episode today because the Spirit did not tell me to prepare. The Spirit did not show me what the topic would be until last night. And even then, I was not allowed to prepare. The Spirit will do this sometimes, often. Just ask you to press record. Ask you to go with your gut. Ask you to trust the Spirit that lives within you. And last night it became very clear to me that there was a theme building. And as I sat and reflected on the things that had transpired over the past about 48 hours with the people around me and in the spirit realm, I heard the Spirit clearly ask me to do a video on the divine feminine and the divine masculine and where they are right now. So, because we're honestly in such a critical time for the whole earth. And when I say divine feminine and divine masculine, there's no gender to that. There's no sex to that. In other words, within me, there is a divine feminine and a divine masculine. However, there is usually, oftentimes, a stronger piece. And for me personally, it is divine feminine. For others, maybe another woman, maybe her strength is divine masculine. And this is just the way it is. And within each one of us, there is masculine and feminine. And this is what union is. And we talked about this in episode number 2, if you want to go back and check it out, where we spoke about Elohim a little bit. And we talked about the divine feminine and the divine masculine coming into union within us. This is such a pivotal moment. And I want to, I really feel strongly to start with addressing the divine feminine. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel very strongly to start with the divine feminine. Yeah, I just keep seeing fire. Almost like balls of fire around the divine feminine as a way of protection and also as a way maker. What I'm seeing is the divine feminine has been through so much, okay, that they are rising rapidly and unapologetically. There is an entire collective shift that is happening right now. And for centuries upon centuries, the divine feminine, has, there's so much coming in. The divine feminine has been abused, neglected, shut down, silenced, and siphoned from. Okay? And it has become so normal that now you see in the 60s and 70s the movement of, burn your bra, right? You see in, I believe, the late 1800s, I could be wrong, where women fought to vote, okay? The thing about those movements were the feminine was coming from a wounded place. It wasn't time for her to rise into the true place of divine femininity, which is soft and fierce, kind but strong, and bold in choosing herself above all else. And this is the shift that we have been heading into, I hear, for the past 3 years. But I know also that we've been being prepared much longer than this. I feel like what the Spirit is saying right now, even with me clearing my throat, having the need to do this, it's a message. It's really amazing. Our body is technology. Because the feminine is receiving her full voice, receiving her full throne, receiving the crown. And this is absent of another person. This is absent of anything or anyone except for her knowing herself, coming into alignment with choosing herself, refusing to back down, refusing to overgive, refusing to settle for less than everything that she deserves, because she is the crown of favor and a righteous gift. A righteous gift. And here's where we get real. Let's be real. There have been generations upon generations of wounds, centuries and lifetimes of trauma and abuse at the hands, often, of the masculine, knowingly, unknowingly, the system of patriarchy, all of these things being built to silence the mother, to silence that divine feminine aspect of God that nurtures but also motivates, that comes with a truth but also in grace, and that can sit with you and hold you in the space of the unknowing, who can comfort your wounds and hear your cry and not shame you, but embrace you. And this has been purposefully erased because a world that doesn't have the Divine Mother is out of balance. And this is strategic. And it is imperative, and it is happening. It is imperative, and it is happening right now, that the divine feminine chooses to forgive. that she refuses to be bitter or to stay bitter. And this is always the invitation. And this is not something that is a drop in the bucket. Because we have been through so much trauma, neglect, abuse, silencing. It's in our DNA. These war wounds and even these patterns of self-betrayal. But the healing begins when you can forgive. And you can say, I don't understand why. It's really not fair. But I forgive. I forgive the masculine. I choose to embrace healing. And I choose to release healing for them. And there is no other way that our world is going to heal without that truth in motion. Now, forgiveness does not mean that you allow these abusers or these people in your life, in your circle, that you allow yourself to continue to be abused. In fact, it could be just the opposite. And often it is. When you come to that place of forgiveness, truly, it is not to invite these people, this person, back into your life. It is simply to release. To release. Release the bitterness. Release the anger. Release the desire for justice or retribution or retaliation or revenge. These things are not from God's heart. They're from a broken heart. And I understand. I understand when you're in that place and you're on your knees and you've been raped or molested, or your husband of 35 years just left you for your best friend, or you're silenced in church, or you're made to feel less than at your work. And I could go on and on. It is systematic and it is everywhere. And there is the easy way is to just stay bitter, to continue to be angry. After all, you're justified. You could. But the reality is, there's a better way. For you. For you. This is personal. There is a better way for you. A way of peace. A way of joy. A way of love. And what it does when you truly forgive from the place deep in your soul, it opens up doors. It expands your horizon. It expands your being. It also releases the essence of heaven into the earth. And until the feminine can truly forgive all that she has endured at the hands of the masculine, our world will be out of balance. And right now, the divine feminine is rising, and there is nothing that will stop her. There is nothing that will stop her. There is a company of leaders, and they are holding their hands out to the many women that shall come behind them. Because our world is in need of the mother. Our world is in need of that aspect of God. The world is out of balance. It's very clear. And whenever there is turmoil, the divine feminine rises. And she shows her face. But then she gets snuffed out. This time is different because this time she's coming in healed. She's setting an example, and she's refusing to diminish. She's refusing to be less than she is. See, in previous seasons and decades, she had to rely on the masculine in ways that she does not have to anymore. And this is also causing the masculine to have to truly sit with themselves. The feminine is choosing herself. This may be a time where there are abrupt divorces and goodbyes and seasons that are suddenly coming to an end, or maybe long time coming, because she has had enough. She is no longer going to continue to attempt to, yes, coddle the wounded masculine, because she has came into her wholeness in the union within her of the divine masculine and the divine feminine as a union, as a whole being. The mystery that Paul speaks about in Ephesians 5, the mystery concerning Christ in the church, Sophia Christ. We talked about that in episode 11, I believe. And this is where we are. And there is no turning back. And this is what she's realizing in this time, is that there can be no turning back. Things are shifting and happening so fast. We are in the year of the fire horse, something that happens every 60 years. And things are moving forward. There is an acceleration on her life because it's her time. It's her time to shine. And in the past, she did that in a way that was insecure. This is why the movements would get snuffed out, because she doubted herself. She wasn't sure of her identity, but now she knows. And here we are. And there's forward movement. There's such a level of transformation with the divine feminine that she doesn't even recognize herself after a week, 5 days, literally dying and resurrecting over and over again. And it is only those who are rising at this pace, transforming at this pace, hungry for the things of heaven, that will be aligned with her. And she refuses to be misaligned. She cannot be misaligned. It cannot be. Because she knows she's got a destiny and a timeline that is her highest purpose. And she's all in for that. And that does not matter what she loses. It does not matter to her what it looks like. She simply has to press into the spirit and stay and align and stay and flow and align and flow and go and do and rest just as the Spirit says. This is causing an uproar in the masculine community because it's a movement that's happening all over the earth, and it's necessary. And don't get me wrong, there are divine masculine who are champion. They are championing the divine feminine. They understand how important the divine feminine is. They are giving space for the divine feminine, truly supportive, but it is actually really rare. And there's a false divine masculine movement that is acting like they are giving space to the divine feminine, but they're still operating from a place of woundedness. And this isn't to blame or shame anyone. This is just where we are right now. And it's requiring the divine feminine to move in authenticity integrity, courage, confidence, and above all things, to pour into herself. She must pour into herself. She must focus on what she is being called to build. No longer is she choosing to wait. Many of the divine feminines have been in a perpetual waiting phase, and that has ended with this eclipse. It is shifted. She refuses to wait. She is no longer waiting. Either the divine masculine can meet her or he cannot. And she's not really too concerned because she understands that it's much bigger. It's much bigger. It just is. What we are being asked to do as divine feminine is shifting and changing the world for the generations before and after us. And make no mistake, the ancestors, your great-grandmother, your great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, your grandmother, they are with us. They are cheering you on. And they admire you. It wasn't their time, but they saw the injustice. They witnessed it. They swallowed it. They dealt with it. They kept on serving. They kept on being the one that took care of everything and everyone. And that was never the design. It was always supposed to be mutual. And the divine feminine is tired. She's tired of pouring. It's time for her to receive. And the ancestors are with us as a cloud of witness, encouraging us, admiring us. I feel that very strongly, admiring us, because we are doing what they couldn't or wouldn't, didn't, and maybe as they grew in age, they knew what they needed to do, but they just couldn't do it. They didn't have the resources. They didn't have the courage. They didn't have the timing. And so they just sat with it. But now they know that you've been chosen for this. And they rejoice because they understand the level of systematic deception that is hurting every human being on the earth. Whether you are divine feminine, divine masculine, a man, a woman, every human being has been wounded and affected by the feminine aspect of God attempting to be erased. So I encourage you to embrace your fire, because right now the dragons are rising. Right now the fire breathers are rising in the divine feminine, and she cannot be contained. She cannot be stopped. It's even she can't even stop the fire. At times, she wants to. It's like the scripture in Jeremiah, I want to not speak, but the word is like fire in my bones, a hammer to a rock. It's like this. And she sits with it, but she can't hold it in. She cannot contain it. The fire has to come out. And then when it does, she feels better. She feels the release. So I encourage you, be the flame. Be the flame. Be who you are supposed to be. Be the flame. Because your fire is necessary. And we know that when things are burned, maybe it hurts. Okay? We've been burned. We know the pain of the fire. But ashes become beauty. The phoenix will rise. And I'm going to shift into the divine masculine because of where the divine feminine is. The divine masculine has no choice but to shift. For far too long, the divine masculine has not been accountable or responsible. Very much lackadaisy, at ease. But it is requiring responsibility. And it may even be the divine masculine has lost relationships, marriages, belongings, calling, like jobs. The fire has burned some of them. And I believe that the fire has burned those who are going to be the ones to rise up. But there is also divine masculine that are walking right now in their full purpose, understanding the seriousness of the importance of the divine feminine kind of leading the way, so to speak, and really partnering with them, honoring them, praying for them, and not praying on them, not looking to receive anything from them, but actually pouring into them, pouring and pouring their whole entire lives out. Right now I'm picturing some of them because I know how real it is. They've been positioned. They've been prepared. And then there are those who are still in a wounded place. And they are being shaken. But they are rising. Because they have no choice but to sit with themselves. Because the divine feminine has given them no choice but to sit with themselves. You see, as a mother, okay, for long time, women took care of their sons in ways that did not prepare their son to take care of themselves. Because it is not the woman's job to do the basic necessity things. And it is not up to your partner, your counterpart, your divine feminine, to be a mother to you, to train you on basic responsibility. What a woman desires, what a feminine desires, what the feminine needs. The spirit trains us in these things, right? And so this is where the divine masculine is having to sit with the spirit, having to purge, and also having a choice. Because the spirit is requiring everything. Everything. And the divine masculine, in the wounded state, with subconscious programming, may unknowingly play games. It's like the divine feminine is leading the charge, but how she's leading is by refusing to betray herself. And the divine masculine is kind of sitting in a whirlwind, trying to figure it out. And this could be costly, because I feel like for some divine feminine and divine masculine, there have been seasons of time for preparation that was not utilized properly. And so it's almost like we have this misalignment with both divine feminine and divine masculine, where they're realizing, my gosh, I've wasted this, or I should have did this different. And it's not that it cannot be redeemed, but this is just where we are. The divine masculine is coming into a place of responsibility, a knowing of the collective damage that has been done at the hands of careless masculine energy, at the hands of treacherous masculine energy, at the hands of selfish masculine energy. And at the same time, the beauty of it is the divine feminine is choosing forgiveness. It's actually really beautiful. It's epic, because this allows for the divine masculine not to have to walk in shame and guilt, because that's not going to help. That's not going to bring him out into his fullness. The divine masculine, this is what I see this in the spirit, is learning to protect and provide, also to be a problem solver. Oh, yeah. We have visitors. Yes, and this is what heaven wants. The divine masculine to know that you are not alone. The host of heaven is with you. You have angelic help. Specifically, this is what I've seen. They're here. And so, while the responsibility may be real, and maybe at times even heavy, you're not carrying it on your own. There is a flow and a rest in the angelic realm where you are being carried. This is what I'm seeing, in help. And for those of you that are facing yourself in the divine masculine collective, understand that nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Absolutely nothing. I even sense and feel like some of you are divine masculine and you don't even know it. You're not even aware of the calling on your life. And I feel like, wow, yeah. It's going to be shown to you. I even see it's going to be shown to you by May. This is just what I'm seeing. But there are some of you that know that you are a divine masculine. And you've been lost in the sauce, in the what if, the guilt, the shame, the lack of direction. Okay? And this is a time, I can see it, to hold hands with heaven, to partner with the host of angels, and to truly allow the Spirit to transform you. But you've got to ask yourself what's really important to you, because this is not found in comfort zones. This is just what I'm seeing. This isn't found in comfort zones. The feminine, the divine feminine, is a flame. And she refuses to be stagnant. And so you have to ask yourself, what do you really desire? Because you can have whatever you want. But if you desire to partner with a divine feminine, then you will have to let everything burn. And especially your ego. Yeah, I'm seeing this. The divine masculine is like a layer upon layer of ego. And really, it's just the wounded little child within. You know, ego is such an ugly thing. But the thing about ego is, it's subconscious. And this is what is really happening in the collective. The subconscious programs are being uprooted. They're being demolished. And the divine feminine is walking in a space of welcoming it, welcoming the flames, sitting in it. And the divine masculine may be a little bit more confused, okay? A little bit more confused. Kind of like I see just like this, a dazed kind of thing. But at the same time, as a whole, yeah. You need to focus where your energy is going. I can see, yeah. More so the divine masculine, but both feminine and masculine. I can see where there's energy that is going in too many different directions. There's no containment. There's no container. When this happens, everything leaks. And so whether you're divine feminine, you're divine masculine, if your energy is not contained, then everything you're pouring into is going to stay stagnant. It's not going to elevate. It's not going to move forward. This is why the divine feminine has really witnessed this and has chosen herself, because she cannot let her energy go, drain her, and stay stagnant any longer. It's like the divine feminine has really paid a price and stayed at a place of almost like a perpetual leakage. And she's saying no more. The divine masculine needs to learn to contain their energy, to set the right boundaries. And really, this is really what I feel for the collective as a whole. You need to ask yourself, what do you really want? What is it that you really desire? I feel like for the divine masculine, they don't really know. They don't really know. And maybe for the divine feminine, they're figuring it out. They're really getting downloads and creativity and really moving forward in the place of the eternal now. Because this is the key. This is the key. That you live in the eternal now. And whatever it is that you feel you're supposed to pour into, you stay true to yourself and you pour into it, understanding there's no limit, that you are the divine creator in a body and you are destined for greatness. And oftentimes, when that is something that you know and you partner with, because everyone is destined for greatness, but very few actually know it, very few actually accept that. We subconsciously hold on to our limitations. When you embrace the fact that you're destined for greatness and you pour everything in to yourself, your calling, your creativity, it can often be a lonely road. There are seasons over and over again where you have to let people go. You have to let places go. You have to let something you've built just burn up. And then a few years down the road, you're doing it again. And it's always a test or question, should I say, of are you content or do you want it all? Are you content or do you want everything? Because when you desire everything, that means you hold everything loosely. And the only thing that you're clinging on to is the spirit and the now. And sure, there are moments that shift us into places that we don't desire to be, dimensionally, spiritually. But learning something there and coming back to the present now. Because that's where expansion is. That's where the field is. And the king is in the field. The field is in the king. And the king is in the field. And whatever you're thinking upon, you're creating. Whatever you are focusing your energy on, you're building. And whether you're a divine feminine or a divine masculine, if you don't feel the devotion of someone pouring into you, no matter what kind of relationship it is, you're not supposed to be there. That's called discounting yourself. And still, here we are in this divine space of elevation, should we choose the narrow path, which is the path of the flame. Sitting with your shadows is hot. It's dark. It's dingy. It's nothing comfortable about it. Acknowledging your patterns and saying, I don't like this. This is not my God self. This is not the highest being, pure consciousness in a body. You know, this is from trauma. This is from shame. This is from feeling stuck when I never was, or whatever it may be. It's not easy, but it's so rewarding. Not because of what you receive, but because of what you realize you are, who you realize you are. And sure, yeah, you're going to be blessed with connections and provision. And, everything is yours. Everything is yours already. But the greatest gift is to look within and realize that you are true to yourself. And no matter what that means, you have to refuse the crumbs. So I encourage you to choose yourself at all costs. What you tolerate, you encourage. And let's face it, we're royalty. We are kings and queens. We already own everything, and we deserve the best of everything. But to really embrace that and know it, there has to be a wholeness, healing, an embodiment of your sovereignty. And that is what is happening. The divine feminine has embodied sovereignty and learning, catching her footing. And the divine masculine mostly has not yet. And that is simply because of the systems and the implementation of the matrix. This is the thing we really have to see. We've all been victims of patriarchy, victims of the matrix, victims of the systems. And we've all been deceived. It's not just one collective, it's all of us. That's where we can walk with compassion and love. And we still have to choose ourselves above all things. That's where we pour truly from a place of humility and agape. When we know deep down we have not betrayed ourselves in any way, shape, or form. So to you divine feminines, roar. I give you permission to roar. You fire breathers, you can't contain it. You might as well stop trying and let it go. And to you divine masculine, I encourage you to sit with yourself and take the required actions to peel back any layers of ego that are holding you back and sabotaging certain areas of your life, but without guilt, without shame, understanding that it's all programming. You don't have to take on the blame. And you should be responsible for yourself. And to carry more weight for the divine feminine. It's what's being required and it's necessary. And wherever you are in this walk, in this life, in this place, above all things, love yourself. Give yourself love. Give yourself grace. But don't waste your life. Don't waste your time. Don't waste other people's time. Yeah. Be true to yourself. There's no greater feeling. And we are going to watch the earth. We already are. Heal. The earth is healing through us. We are the earth. And she's not holding back. And sometimes that's intense for all of us. We feel it in our bodies, up our spine, our head, our feet. We ache, we groan. She is rising. And she is not waiting for any of us. She's just not. So here we are, and we must rise. Or get left behind in the sense of staying in a lower place, vibrationally. Or even going through chaos that we don't have to go through because we're misaligned. It's exciting times, though, when you're aligned. And sure, you go through stuff, but you come out with tools and wisdom, and you go deep. Really deep. And deeper, and deeper, and deeper. And it never ends. The mysteries of heaven. And those are the things that I myself desire to explore, probably more than ever before. Spirit and matter have met in my life. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And that's it for now. That's it for today. So I hope that you received what you needed. And maybe hit replay and listen again. This is timeless. It really is. Balance is coming. Love you guys. Thank you for joining us today in discovering divine mysteries. If you'd like to connect or partner with us, please email theroseflamesophia@gmail.com. See you next time.